Hello, everyone. So, despite all the talk about gender equality, despite all the talk about women being emancipated politically, despite all the national policies, all the laws, unfortunately, we are still where we are politically. And so much accounts for that. And I'm going to share with you some startling statistics that just show you just how bad the problem is. But first of all, good day, ladies and gentlemen, again. My name is Ndidi Anike Val-Okeoma. I was the only female gubernatorial aspirant in the just concluded elections, which is okay, by the way, and we're not stopping. Now, there were 15,000, a bit more than 15,000 candidates in the last general elections. And out of that 15,000 candidates, only 1,550 were women. There was only one female presidential candidate, no female vice presidential candidates across all the 18 parties across the states. Now you have the 10th Assembly made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. And out of the 109 seats in the Senate, you only have 3 women as senators currently. And out of the 360 seats in the House of Representatives, you have only 17 women currently. And this represents a very paltry 4.2% out of the entire 469-member assembly currently. Now, out of the 416 GUBA aspirants, GUBA candidates across the states, only 25 were female. I was one of them. And out of the 1,019 females who contested in the 2023 state houses of assembly across the nation, only 48 won. Ladies and gentlemen, Imo State is not one of them. No woman in Imo State is a member of the House of Assembly. Thus, according to the 2022 Gender Gap Report by the World Economic Forum, out of 146 countries, Nigeria, unfortunately, is at 141 when it comes to terms of female political participation. Startling, isn't it? Well, let's do a comparative analysis with Rwanda. Now, according to the 2023 USAID report, Rwanda is recognized as a leader in gender equality and women's empowerment, with women currently holding positions making up 61% of the Rwandan parliament and 50% of the president's cabinet, I beg your pardon. This is a whooping 61.25% as against Nigeria's what? 4.2. So we see a sad scenario of the giant of Africa, humbled to its knees by a country once torn apart by a horrific genocide, almost obliterated from the world's map. And while both countries share a similar story, you see that one has moved ahead while the other has drawn backwards. Another sad reality. And there's a pie chart should show the women representation in Rwandan parliament. You can see that the women are actually more than the men in Rwanda. Let's see Nigeria. All right. That's a 4%. Fantastic, isn't it? Now, let's go. So one may ask, what exactly is the problem? Why such low turnout in female representative politics? So let me share my views based on my experience. Let's go. It was Tari Oliver, a former female presidential aspirant under the PDP, who said, poverty wears the face of a female. Truth be told, most women in Nigeria today are unable to play the money politics that goes on during elections in Nigeria. Let me share my experience. So, when the forms were ready to be sold for the governorship position, my party sold the forms for 25 million. And here I was wanting to run for governor But against all odds, I was going to get that form. And if my party had a policy that the form was free for women, that was only in principle only. Because when I got to that place, I realized that it wasn't all that was written that was said, actually. And we did spend a few millions to get that form, because I was going to get that form. And after that, it became a money-spending venture. It was a money-spending orgy of some sorts. Everywhere that you went, if the taxi driver was going to open the car for you, you had to drop money. Simply because you had offered yourself to serve your people. Simply because you had decided that you want to join the race because you have something to offer. It became transactional. It still is. And I believe it still will be until we begin to change that narrative. And I couldn't keep up at some point because I just wanted to serve. I didn't have to ask you or buy you for my votes. I wanted you to believe in me. There was a thought process, and I had shown myself worthy to occupy this position. Why did I have to buy it off from you? Why did you have to make yourself a commodity? But that is the reality. Oh, violence against women in elections also serves as a significant deterrent. Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, currently one of the senators representing Kogi North Central, it was during her campaign, sometime in December 2022, that her campaign convoy was attacked, that had a lot of people injured and one person shot. And like Akpoti, several female contestants across the Nigerian political landscape have to fear for their lives. In fact, when I did decide to run for governor, one of the strategic meetings we had was discussing my security. And the amount that was to be spent on security just because I decided to run was unimaginable. And that is one of the challenges we face as women. Discrimination and sexual harassment. The moment you are born a female, you are already mapped out for discrimination and sexual harassment. It's almost a role you must accept. It's almost a role we almost teach our girls. Because at every point in your life, the fact that you're a woman already discredits you. So you're already discriminated against. You have to face the sexual harassment that comes just because you're a woman and you have curves. And that is the current reality. Women against women, the PhD syndrome, the pull her down syndrome. Today, we have that unfortunate weapon that we use to advance the lie that women don't support women. But it has to stop. We need to flip that coin. My most challenging moments were having to face women because there were so many stereotypes. And you would have questions like, why can't you go take care of your husband? Or if you're single, why can't you go marry? That's a better goal, right? Than running for governor. And to them, it goes against every grain of home training. In fact, how dare you dream of even holding political office? How dare you dream? That is the challenge that we have. Quite discouraging for a lot of uprising female young women who want to occupy political positions. That is the current challenge that we have today. So, how do we flip this current reality? Truth be told, we have been politically relevant about women's riots, Mrs. Ransom Kuti. But the thing is, we have not translated this political relevance to political power. Because it's one thing to speak, it's one thing to take a political decision, sit at the table, and decide the fate of women in Nigeria. So we need to flip that coin. And how do we do that? We are going to start with grassroots campaign and advocacy. Now, women just have to take the bull by the horns and transform all your associations, August meetings, market women's associations, even TEDxOrji Women. And we move into and galvanize strong political movements, use our population strength to champion women who will lead the cause and these issues. This is what we have to do. Policies implementation. The national gender policy that provides for formally 35% affirmative action, now 50% affirmative action, hasn't been implemented by the government till today. This is one of the things we must enforce as women groups. Stand united, form political parties. Come on, there's a political party already here. Because the law already says 50 persons with the same values. So this is a political party. Why can't we not form our own political party? What is stopping us? So that we advance our own terms and narratives. And that is not to say it's going to be all women. We have he's for she's. But this time around, it's going to be on our own terms. Because if we won't be given a fair opportunity, then let's flip the coin. And let us advance the narrative. Women's rights advocacies. As a member and a past chairperson of FIDA Nigeria, our mandate was to promote, preserve, and advance the cause of women's rights, protect women and girls' rights. And that is what we've been doing through free legal education, free legal clinics, and many women going through having so many associations again, such as TEDxOrji Women. We can come together and galvanize. And we can support ourselves. Now, mentorship and support from female political office holders. Come on. Yet again. So the women who are now in government, the 17 and the 3, 20, to be precise. You must start now to become like Deborah, who coached and raised Jael to slaughter the enemy of Israel, Sisera. I ask, what are your plans to advance women and to encourage the upcoming women? Because we can't hear you just yet. Well, let's believe that you're still trying to settle in. But while you're doing that, just remember that the men have begun to strategize for 2027. In fact, a winner has emerged. So I ask again, what exactly are your plans for other women? Or are you going to shut the door behind our faces as it's always been? If we remember that power is not given, that power is taken, then we'll raise up our sleeves and we will get to the work. Because the power lies in your hands, in each and every one of you that I see seated. So that tomorrow, the title Giant of Africa will no longer be an echo, but it will roar louder than it has ever been before. Thank you very much.